Hello, I am Hamid from English Yes. In this video, we are going to focus on the passive voice. So keep watching this video until finish. In this lesson, we are going to learn about what is the passive voice, the grammatical structure, why do we use the passive voice, how to change the active voice into the passive voice. Let's move on to discuss the first part of this lesson. What is the passive voice? The passive voice is a grammatical construction when the sentence focuses on what happens to the subject, not who or what is doing the action. Let's take a look some examples. The first example says, the mouse was chased by the cat. This sentence focuses on what happens to the subject. The subject of this sentence is the mouse. The mouse was chased. This sentence doesn't focus on what is doing the action, the cat. The car will be fixed. Again, this sentence focuses on what happened to the subject. The car will be fixed, not who is doing the action, not who fixed the car. The last example, all the cookies have been eaten. The focus of this sentence is all the cookies have been eaten, not who has eaten the cookies. Let's move on to discuss about the grammatical structure of the passive voice. The grammatical structure of the passive voice: be plus past participle. These are the form of be: am, is, are, was, were, been, being. Am, is, are in present simple, was, were in past, been in the perfect tenses, and being in continuous tenses. Past participle. Verb number 3. For regular verbs, it is not problem because it is the same as past simple. You just need add t or et at the end of the verbs, like use, used, used, watch, watched, watched, call, called, called, clean, cleaned, clean. For irregular verbs, you have to memorize. These are the example of irregular verbs: do, did, done, drink, drank, drunk, eat, ate, eaten, write, wrote, written, and I think you can make many more examples. Let's go back to the grammatical structure of the passive voice. The grammatical structure of the passive voice: be plus past participle. Let's look some examples of the passive voice. The first example: news reports are written by the reporters. In the passive voice, there is always be and past participle. The P in this example are and the past participle is written. The next example, the film was being watched by him. The P in this example was being and the past participle watch. The last example, dinner has been prepared by her. Why do we use the passive voice? We use the passive voice when the action is more important than the person who does the action. For example, the house was built last year. The information about the house was built last year is more important than the person who built the house. The next reason we use the passive voice when the person who does the action is not known or not important. For example, this beautiful landscape was painted in 1995. We do not know who built this beautiful landscape in 1995. The third reason we use the passive voice when the person who is doing the action is obvious. For example, the lesson was explained clearly. It is obvious, it is clear for us that someone who explained the lesson clearly is a teacher. Let's move on to discuss the last part of this lesson. How to change the active voice into the passive voice. Here is a step-by-step guide. Number 1. Identify the subject, verb, and object. Identify the subject, who or what is performing the action. The verb, the action itself, and the object, who or what receive the action. Number 2. Move the object to the subject position. Place the object of the active sentence at the beginning of the sentence, making the subject of the passive sentence. Number 3. Add the to be verb. Choose the correct form of the verb to be based on the tense of the active sentence verb and the new subject. Number 4. Use the past participle, verb number 3. Number 5. Add by plus the performer. Let's look some examples. Active. The cat chased the mouse. To change the active into passive, first we have to identify the subject, the verb, and the object. The subject is the cat, the verb is chased, and the object is the mouse. Number 2, we move the object to the subject position. We move the objects, the mouse, into the subject of the passive, the mouse, and afterward we add to be was because the tense is past simple and then the subject is third person singular, so we add was after mouse and we use the past participle chased and we add by plus the former, the cat. So The cat chased the mouse in active sentence become the mouse was chased by the cat in passive form. The man washes the car in the active voice becomes the car is washed by the man in the passive voice. They are reading the book in the active voice becomes the book is being read by them in the passive voice. She writes the letter in the active voice becomes the letter is written by her in the passive voice. Well, I think that's all for this video. If you think that this video is useful for you, don't forget to give support to this channel by subscribe, like, and comment. See you on the next video.